Hey guys, welcome back to another installment, episode, whatever you want to call it, in our ongoing series. Uh, what we're doing today is we are still working on the Triple Canyon Module 2.0, Jurassic Park themed. And today we're kind of going to do a combination of update, what I've been doing, and some demonstrations on techniques, uh, way we're going to handle this module, etc., etc. So as you can see, I have painted most of the module. Uh, it has a basic color down. It's pretty much where I want it. It's not perfect, but nothing ever is. Um, I have along this edge here, pardon me if I get a shadow here, along this edge here where the shoreline is, that was painted a brown similar to this road, which you can now see is taking shape. It's actually starting to look like something. And I added the first thing I put down here after I painted it that brownish color is some of this Woodland Scenics fine blended turf. This is the color is earth. Uh, and what I do is I go and I don't sprinkle it with a shaker jar. My go-to is one of these little disposable plastic spoons, and you're going to see that when I do this hillside here. But I went along with the uh, the blended earth, and then went and grabbed a lighter shade of green, and just in spots, just to give the little spoon, like, come along here and just kind of tapping thing. And you'll see that when I do this, when went along the edge there, so it's along the shoreline, and which you can see we've already painted, using the same techniques that we've used before. uh, you can look back on my water video that I did several months ago. And that one, we demonstrate how I do the water. And it turned out pretty nice. I gotta say, I do like how it looks right now. Didn't make any waves in it really. Doesn't really, because it's a river, or well, kind of. It's the starting of a little river that's going to go off module. But so this is the bank, one side of the bank. This I'll have to come back and I'm going to do this at another point, uh, and we'll get this one, kind of like this is, maybe not exact, because this is more of a dirt, the dirt road that leads away from the helipad. So anyway, let's get started, and we're going to do a little demonstration here on how I get the hillside to blend into this. So we're going to just take our plain old white Elmer's glue, and this is a straight concentration. It's not mixed down or anything like that. And we're just going to come across here and do a little zigzag pattern. And this is basically the same kind of technique I use when I join a couple of pieces of material together, like, let's say that road as an example, because that was cardboard. So I did a little zigzag pattern on it, and then I don't really need to spread it out as much. So I'm going to take just a plain old semi-disposable brush, one of those little Dollar General specials, and just spread it out. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but you want the coverage. So we're going to spread it down through here. Everywhere that's more or less painted green. And this is going to go pretty quick. So don't blink. No, just kidding. So anyway, we're going down here. And since I did this area near the shoreline a while ago, it's set. It's not going anywhere. As you can see, it doesn't rub off or anything like that. It's good. So I did the same technique that I did down there, and we're not done by a long shot as far as that goes with the attaching the material. So I'm going to take this now, and I'm just going to set this in some water so that the glue doesn't get hardened up on me. So I just put it in my little cup of water over there. So now I'm going to come back. Now this is a really nice green. Okay, so this is also another Woodland Scenics product. And you can do, there's another company, Scenic Express. They make a lot of really great products too. It's all a matter of, you know, what's cheaper, basically, and what your needs are. How much do you need? You know, they do a lot of bulk stuff, so that's a good thing to have for those. So let me take it up a lot. This is a brand new package, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to work. So I'm just going to come along here, and you can see I got this canted at an angle so that it makes it easier for me to apply the grass here. It's still going to go down at an angle, and the reason I'm not going to put a whole lot of other elements on this as far as, you know, there's no trees gonna going on here. If I find in my stash of stuff somewhere, if I find some plants, I mean, I know I have stuff that looks like bushes, you know, either dark color or a light color like this, lighter, I should say. I may attach those as well. But the reason I have it at an angle is to help this, just getting the grass on there. Because if I had this straight up and down, it would be difficult at best. So this does help out a lot. And you can see it's actually starting to look like something. And so we're going to just work this all the way down. And that's pretty much got that covered. Let's get a little bit here at the top. I could see some glue showing through. Okay, so that's pretty much where we want it. Now what I'm going to do is dig into my stash of stuff here, and we're going to vary some color. Okay, so here's another one called Burnt Grass. Okay, so that's more or less the green that we had down here, and we're just going to vary it. Okay, so just putting some different color in, not a lot, just putting it in different areas where I think it looks good. Okay, so we're going to go down here along the shoreline more and hit that down in there. And just like I said, just if it's a little bit thinner in some spots. You know, it helps to get that done. Okay, so that's pretty good. So, here we go. We're going to do one more thing before we wrap this section up. We're going to go back to the fine turf here, because there's going to be spots of brown where the grass doesn't want to stick as much. So we're just going to vary that up a little bit. And one more thing I just remembered that I need to do. Okay, so let me put this one away. I try to keep them as separate as possible so that they don't tip over and then you have a mess, and that's a nightmare. I've been through there enough times. I've spilled some product and it's not fun cleaning up, especially this stuff. Ugh, it's horrible. So now we got another one. This one's yellow grass. Okay, now this is very potent color, and I'm just going to take a little tiny bit at a time. And that's the key with this color especially. You got to work it slow, because it is pretty potent. So the areas that I got here that are a little bit thin on the green, we're just going to highlight it a little bit with some of this yellow. Okay, and that's all we really need. So we've turned a plain, just painted hillside in a matter of 10 minutes with just, you know, some white glue and a little bit of the Woodland Scenics products, and now we've got our hillside. Now, it's not in place, okay? Yes, we painted white glue on here, but we've added some layers and they're not soaked in. So this is just an ordinary spray bottle, and it's got a mixture of just plain water and a couple of drops of dish soap. Like, you know, you can use Dawn or whatever, it doesn't matter. But you only need a few drops. And what that does is breaks the surface tension of the water. So we're going to come back at a pretty good angle, or a pretty good distance from it. And we're just going to spray it initially, and you can see the color change, so you know when it's getting to the point where it's getting wet. And that's what we want. We want this to get wet and soak through, so it all adheres. It'll look like it's starting to come through, but it's fine. And that's basically it. We've now got the mountainside done. Excuse me. So I'm going to move this blended turf out of the way. And now I have all these back here in place, so there's no chance I'm going to have a little accident there. Okay, so we got that done. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I am going to, you pardon my hand, I have to move the props out of the way, and we're going to put this back level again, because we're going to move on. And this will dry Probably in an hour-ish. An hour is pretty good amount, a fair amount of time to say uh, that you can say it'll be ready. Okay, um, it could be less, and it probably will be less. But I don't want to give anyone false hopes. Oh, I'll be done here in an hour. No, you cannot with this stuff. I mean, there's so many variables as far as uh, you've got how much did you soak it? How long is whatever glue you're using? How long is it going to take to get to the point where it is ready to go? Um, I'm just getting some stuff ready here for our next phase. Uh, but at any rate, that's what that's going to look like now. And what I'm going to do now, you see there's some trees I put up here. This was just something that I threw together because I wanted to see one, how much trees I had on hand, and I found out that I needed to order a lot more to get the effect that I want. And two, I had to see, you know, how does it look with my vision as to what this would, what the overall look is going to be. And played around with a couple different ideas, but that's what we got going on up here. This will all come off because I have to go and continue on with this. It's going to be mostly the first grass that we put down, the green grass, the very dark stuff, because it's a forest, the jungle floor, if you will. So we have to go with that, and that's how this is going to be. This is all going to be a rock face, so I'm going to need to go and tip this on its side this way to get this little patch here to the same method that we did before. That I'll be doing off camera as well. But this rock face, I think, is pretty well done. I may need to touch up the paint here and there. Like there's a little dab here, but that's probably going to be scenic over. Um, as you can see, though, let me before we get started, I gotta get this heat gun or these hot glue gun a chance to warm up. I did do the area from the helipad out to the edge of the module. This is all that clay that we talked about before. As you can, it wasn't look like this at all when I put it down. It was all smooth. It was beautiful. I painted over top of it, and over the course of time, it cracks, and it has some pretty deep cracks. Fortunately for us, I'm going to be covering over that with some of this fine turf, probably some bushes and shrubbery down low, and just so you get an idea. Let me grab it. Gotta get it the right way. Okay, so this is how our bridge will fit into this. And you can see I've got now I did get a little bit excess, it's too far, but I can fill this in with scenic elements. And once I get this bridge ready, we're almost to that point. I was gonna finish up back in here. I had some holes that I had to patch back in this area back in here, so I'm gonna have to repaint that, and then that area will be done, and we're just concentrating on the two hillsides. And once the hillsides are done, we can install this bridge for good. But what we're going to do next is we're going to be doing the waterfall. Now, I got to set this up a little bit higher Excuse me while I adjust the camera a little bit. Okay, I wasn't sure this was going to show up on video, but I could see it now. It does. Okay, so I'm going to use the spare paintbrush. Excuse me a second. I had to get a drink of coffee. It's early in the morning for me. Okay, so anyway, I went and I don't know if I have it. Oh, yes, I do. Okay, so way back when, I mean, this is going back a very long time, I bought at a model train show a kit, and it's called Stars in the Sky. Okay, this was from early 90s, I'm going to say, like pre 1995, in that area. And at the time I had, excuse me, HO scale modules. And I was going to use this product. Wow, we're bad this morning. Excuse me. Wow, bad day. All right. So anyway, I was going to use this product on my skyboard, as far as that goes. And the way it works is you get this stuff here. This is fiber optics. Okay, it's bare bones, and you would stick and use a regular. This is what came with the kit. Okay, it's a Christmas tree light basically. That's got your electrical wires just hanging loose there, and I'd never really read the directions because I never got to the point where you wire it up. I'm assuming it's DC. I'd have to look at it, but it could be AC. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I never sat down and read the directions because I never got to the point where I was going to use it. And I don't even know how much I paid for it, to be honest. But, in the early 90s, fiber optics was the way to go. So that is what that is. So it's almost like fishing wire, or a fishing line, I should say. But, the way the kit would work, let's get the light back out here. You would take this, okay, and you carefully thread one end into here to the light, okay, and I mean you got several holes here where that's already pre-drilled for you, and you can just keep feeding lights in there and gluing them in place, and then in theory, like I said, I never tried it. I guess it works. This fiber optic will carry to the backboard, your skyboard there, and you would stick them through in little pinholes throughout your skyboard to light it up as like the nighttime sky. How bright it is, does it even work? Yeah, I couldn't tell you. And I played around with the idea of using it, but I don't know. But anyway, I found a new purpose for it. So this is going to be our skeleton framework, whatever you want to say, for our waterfall. So what I've done here, I've taken several of them. I think there's like 3 on the top one here, on these 2 main pieces. And I put them, and I hot glued them, well, I super glued the 3 pieces together, and then on both sides here, and then just a dab of hot glue up the top, one here, and I think there's one on either side here to hold it in place against the rock work. And then they come down here, and now we're going individual lines. Okay, so this is just one piece and one strand that comes down here to the base, and we've hot glued it at both locations. and it went out, it bows a lot because it's how it's wound up in there. So it takes a lot to straighten it out. So I went and also hot glued it at certain points along the edge here. Now this is two different, now this is one strand that comes down here and it breaks off into two strands that come down here. So how we're going to make this look like something. Okay, so this is our framework. Okay, so how I'm going to do this. Now this is, let's see if I can get the, if I can bring the packaging over without doing anything. Okay, so this is just polyfill. Okay, you could buy it at a craft store. I don't remember how much they were. Probably less than $10. Depends on where you go. But I just took this and just take out a pile of it, like something like this, and then I just twisted it. You know, you just gotta get a hold of it there, and you just twist it up and twist it tight, and then it's gonna more or less keep that shape. And I've had this just sitting probably for about a week to try this out and see how it looks, and it held together pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach these on here, these ones especially, okay, and we're going to attach them at the top here. I'm going to work my way down, and we're going to get down here to the bottom, and at the bottom, now yes, I had a little incident where one of these made too big a glob and it just pulled away, but we're going to cover that. I'm probably going to come in with a little bit of paint here, and then we're going to just at the very bottom here, because when you get water and it comes down at the base, you're going to get a little bit of spray that comes up, okay, and it almost looks like a cloud. So that's how I'm going to do this, is come out with a little bit of a cloud. And when we come back in the next video, I'm going to have this completely done. I'm also going to be using, if I have it handy, probably not. Yeah, I don't see it. Yeah, here it is. Okay, I did have it handy. I'm also going to be using some of this Woodland Scenics water effects. Not so much as an adhesive, but it's the using this fiber fill at the top is great because it's the bulk of the water that I want to show up the top. But when it gets into here, I'm probably going to come through with this Woodland Scenics water effects and just, you know, a little bit down each strand, because this will stick very good. I mean, this is, it's not like it's more of like a gel, especially when it comes out. And then I'm just gonna, you know, just kind of like you do if you're gonna do caulking, like in your, you know, your bathroom or whatever, more or less just like that. And I'll just spread it, you know, and it won't really need to spread it out much. It'll just attach right to this line that comes down each one, and then that'll be it. Then the waterfall, well, at that point we'll have to stop. I'll have to stop and let that stuff dry. That takes usually about a day, maybe a little bit longer, depending on how thick it is, and, you know, how much you put on. But once that's dry, it will dry not clear, but kind of like a milky, a really kind of milky looking. So I will come back with some just plain old acrylic white, which I have laying around somewhere, and I'll paint that and touch that up, and it will look just like regular water. It'll be fine. Um, but then that'll be it for that section, and the waterfall will be done. I am going to come back and I'm going to cover over all this with some different paints. This I'll have to paint some green. Um, do the gray work on the rocks again in here. Um, you guys didn't see that part, I don't think. Let me see if I can scoot back here. Okay, so here's, yeah, I had to come back with some of the spackling, and like I said, I had to do a little bit of patchwork in there, but that's going to get all painted gray. Uh, we're going to go and do some work with uh, the top there on both sides. That's all going to get done. And like I said, the area down here uh, where the bridge is, that I will also get done. I'm just going to put some basic stuff in there first, just so that I can get the bridge ready to install. And then once the bridge is ready to install, we're going to, that'll be our next video. We will install the bridge, and I'm also going to come down through here with just a quick line of, do a little bit of stuff in the middle of the road there. Because when the Jeeps, get my little Jeep, when they're coming down the road, they're going to be, when I eventually install these two Jeeps, they're going to be something like this. Because in the movie, that's basically how they were. They're one behind the other. So we'll make this as just a path coming out. That's like there's a little bit of grass in the middle, and that's where the ruts in the road would be when they travel. So that's that. So that's how that's going to look. Eventually, we are going to install the helicopter. And where's the helicopter going to go? Because we got a helipad, right? So we got to put a helicopter. And so what I did with that, this is a helicopter that came with these Jeeps. Okay. Same company. So there's our helicopter. And if you notice, what I did was I super glued a paper clip. Okay. You gotta love this. So what I did, okay, so here's my vision. I'm going to take this, and this helicopter, if I get a hold of it, is going to go somewhere, say in here, like he's coming in for a landing. This, the wire for the paperclip, I'm going to shove into the wall here once I get all of this done in here. And then we're going to look at it, and we're going to see, do I need to paint the wire gray, which I probably will, just so it kind of blends into the rock so you don't notice this paperclip. So, I mean, it's pretty dark as it is, but we'll see. I'll probably wind up just, coming in with a touch-up brush and give that a quick paint job, and it'll blend right into the rock, and you will never even notice it when you're going along. So that's it. That's it for our video for today. Please like, share, subscribe, and pass this along to your friends. I mean, it's getting exciting right now because we're nearing the end, finally, of this master build. And it's a long one, but I appreciate you following along, and I thought that doing this technique where I'm actually doing some demonstration work on how I do some things would inspire people. And if you got a comment, please put it in there. Of how I'm doing, what you think I could do better, Or if you got a question about what I'm doing, absolutely put them in there. I will respond to anybody and everybody. Um, Try to keep it real. You know, don't go crazy with it, but let's don't bother holding back the punches. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna let you guys go, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care, guys.